The last section of this unit, you might be kind of excited, it's been a long, tough unit, is bearings. A bearing is an angle measured from a north-south line, and it tells you if you're heading east or west and how many degrees off of the north-south line you are towards that secondary direction. Let's take a look at a few examples of bearings. We're starting this time on a north-south line. All of the angles we've looked at so far have started on the x-axis. Bearings start on the y-axis, either heading away from north, so this is north, and we're heading 65 degrees towards the west, so you can see the bearing here, north, 65 degrees west, or we could start heading from our south direction, in this case 70 degrees to the east. So our bearing is south, 70 degrees east. Ships and planes both use bearings. These have a lot of applications in the real world. Of course, our essential question is how are we going to use bearings to solve problems? And we're starting off with an example of a ship. So we're going to set up our bearing. It sails from a port in the direction south and 14 degrees towards the east. Remember, the angle is measured from the north-south line. So that's our 14 degrees, and we're heading off to the east. Ships measure their speed in knots. 20 knots is about 23 miles per hour. It's almost a one-to-one conversion, and it's traveling 428 miles. We're looking for how far south of port is it after 12 hours. I'm going to set up a slightly bigger picture here. We're going to end up with a right triangle. Here's our 14-degree angle. The question is, how far south of port is it? Directly south? If it had been heading directly south, how far away from the port would it be? We can find the hypotenuse of this triangle by multiplying the speed times the time. And so far it is 276 miles into its trip. We have adjacent and hypotenuse, so we'll set up our cosine function. Cosine of 14 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse, multiplying both sides by 276. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. We are back to degrees for this unit before you enter this in. And I got about 267.802 miles directly south of where it started. Now we have two lighthouses and we've got bearings. It says they're on a north-south line. So we have lighthouse A, lighthouse B. From lighthouse A, the bearing of a ship is south, 39 degrees towards the east. From lighthouse B, it is north, 39 degrees towards the east. So we have this lovely isosceles triangle here. The lighthouses are 250 meters apart, and we're wondering how far due east is the ship from those lighthouses. With an isosceles triangle, we can split it into two right triangles by cutting that side length in half. And how far east is the ship? We're looking for the bottom side. This time we have opposite and adjacent. So we have tangent of 39 degrees equals opposite over adjacent, multiplying both sides by 125. We get an approximate distance of 101.223 meters. When you try question today, let me know what's most confusing about bearings so we can start our class with your questions.